And we're live. Great. This seems like the kind of thing that could either go totally fine or not well at all. Hard to know. I feel like a bunch of people, or a decent number of people, showed up when I wanted to complain about the PlayStation 5's design. But who knows? Yeah, of course. Of course, Mike is the first person to be here. I know it. I saw that there was one person waiting, and I was like, there's a 50% chance it's that fucking guy. Howdy. But yeah, so I was like, I don't really know if anyone really wants to hear me talk about the PlayStation 5. I've written 2 articles about it for thedailybeast.com. The first one went up last Friday, and the second one, which is about the launch software, went up yesterday morning. But, you know, we can talk about it or we can talk about other shit. Frankly, I don't really care. I really don't like the picture I used in the thumbnail, but yeah, 10 to 15 people would show up if I was talking about paint drying. It's the same 10 to 15 people, and I appreciate them deeply. The problem with the thumbnail and why it's awful, my girlfriend was like, I don't want to click on this picture of your face, which fair enough. Sony sent it to me. I reviewed it for the Daily Beast. No. Is my voice not normal? How about now? Is that better? I'm never really. Nope, that's not right. How about now? Is this better? I'm not whispering. This is just how I talk. Thank you, Killa. Yeah, no, I've had the PlayStation 5 for 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days actually. I got it on the 30. I got it the day before Halloween, I think. Right? Is that right? Yeah, I got it the day before Halloween. Or maybe I'm whispering because my girlfriend's in the room and I don't really want to bother her because she's Christmas shopping. She claims that she can't hear me despite the fact that she looked at me when I said that. So clearly she just heard what I said. So she's lying. Whatever. But yeah, Jim, the way I obtained mine is by being given one. So kind of, juke the system a little bit. But, I wrote about it for thedailybeast.com, and they get like 31 million readers a month. And even if, 0.1% of them are even vaguely interested in the PlayStation 5, that is a worthwhile investment for Sony to send an emissary for the Daily Beast a copy of their new system. It's interesting. It might be, you probably won't find it interesting, but I find it interesting. Actually, one of the first things I ever did at the Daily Beast 7 years ago was go to the launch event of the PlayStation 4, which took place at the Standard Hotel in New York City. I'm the only person who writes about video games for the Daily Beast. Like, I write like between 3 and 6 articles a year. Every once in a while someone else, but like realistically it's just not a video game publication. But try to hit the highlights, a new Call of Duty, if there's a new Fallout, stuff like that, like a Star Wars game, the big things my editor's interested in, and I'm the guy who writes about them. But yeah, 7 years ago I went to the Standard Hotel and I met Hideo Kojima, as well as some people who were less interesting than Hideo Kojima. So that was interesting. It was actually the first time I ever used a PlayStation 4, and I think I was the only press person there who had never seen one in person. And the first thing I played was Dead by Daylight. That sounds right. I don't know, some zombie game. And I remember like getting my hand on a controller and then being surprised that I didn't like understand how all the buttons worked. But I mean, whatever. It's what happens. It was the same day that I got an Xbox One. So it was a very interesting day for a college student to have. I just had a giant fucking suitcase that I lugged between campus and first the Microsoft event and then the Sony event. And so I just like literally had a suitcase that was just full of shit that honestly I could have, if I had been mugged, it would have been real bad. Someone would have been super happy. Whoever mugged me would have been super stoked, but I would have been sad. But yeah, and now 7 years later, I did not get an Xbox Series X, but I did get a PlayStation 5, and I've spent the last 2 weeks spending a lot of time on it. The last couple days, I played a bunch of Call of Duty because I filed a story on that last night. It's interesting. Yeah, the thing is, I like it. You know, I really do. I had said on a live stream that I wasn't really planning on getting a PS5 for a while. And when I did, I would probably get a digital edition, sometime next year. So obviously that plan did not pan out, but for a good reason. I mean, PS4 games by and large are backward compatible, which is nice. And I mean, the PS3 and PS2 aren't. I really wish that Sony was doing the level of backward compatibility that Microsoft was. Not that I feel like every single game needs to work on both platforms the way that Microsoft is doing currently. I think it is for the best that Demon Souls was not made to work on the PS4, because the thing about that game that I really like is the fact that it has no loading times. And I know if they were trying to make it work on the PS4 and the PS5, there would definitely be more loading. Hello, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, well, that's cool. But yeah, I like my, I actually just this morning completely wiped my PlayStation 4 Pro. Sadly, I have long since given up my original PlayStation 4, which had my initials engraved into it, because that was a thing that Sony did for people 7 years ago. But they were doing it to get people to like post on Instagram, like, look at my PlayStation 4 that has like my gamer tag or whatever the PlayStation equivalent of that is in it. And I most definitely did not Instagram or tweet my my thing, but I did have it. I used to joke that if Gamergate was actually about ethics in games journalism, then I would have been public enemy number one about 6 months before the whole thing actually went down, because on my like website, which I think 3 people a month would visit, I took a picture of all of the stuff Sony had given me alongside the PS4 and all the stuff Microsoft had given me alongside the Xbox One. And the PS4 had come with a second controller. I think there might have been a headset, 6 games, a vest, a shoulder bag, and like one other thing. It was like a really, there's a lot. I don't typically use things that are given to me. I actually did use the bag for a fucking picnic blanket. Oh no, I got the picnic blanket at a different event. I don't tend to wear logo things that I'm given because I try not to be a shill as much as possible. I did use the bag for a little while though. It's a really nice bag. I looked at it as like a $220 bag. I'm sure they did not pay that much. But it's a real nice bag. Anyway, Yakuza Like a Dragon is right now an Xbox Series X exclusive. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I can really hear those sounds that my mouth makes, and it's really upsetting. And I can see why certain people hate listening to me talk. Anyway, the Xbox One came with a second controller, like 2 games, one of which was fucking Zoo Story or whatever. Um, and that was it. Like it just didn't really come with anything, and that's fine. I didn't need a bunch of merch. I wish it had come with more games because I wanted to play more games so I could have a better sense of the system at large. You know, having 6 PlayStation 4 games was useful because it really gave me a general sense of how it runs and what kinds of games there are and what they feel like. In a way that getting Zoo Story and Dead Rising 3 in the Xbox just was not a super useful metric by which to judge that platform. But I liked the PS4 more than I liked the Xbox One on day one because the Xbox One felt like the future of video games, but a beta version of it. Like it was nowhere near ready. And I continue to think that the Xbox One, like even like the Kinect integration, everything was like actually not a bad idea. They just did it before that would work. I actually really liked the voice commands to the thing, and the PS5 has a microphone in the controller. It's possible that there are voice commands. There should be if there aren't. Um, but like there was a lot to the Xbox One in the early days that I liked that they just sort of got rid of over time. I mean, I didn't use cable, so it didn't matter in that sense. But this is like the least popular live stream I've done in period. That's kind of interesting. It's fine. This one's going to be shorter. I'm not planning on talking for another 4 fucking hours. Putting the amazing. Oh yeah, I mean it's not going to work. So that's the answer to that one. I did play a little bit of the remaster of Spider-Man 2018. I never played the original Spider-Man 2018. I played a little bit of the remaster. And I mean, dude's a fucking cop. the beginning of that game makes no sense because you're like Infamous Second Son is downloadable as part of the thing. It hasn't been updated yet to my knowledge. Oh wait, am I thinking of Second Son? Yeah. Yes, I am. Second Son was like a PS4 launch title, wasn't it? I think I had that one. And it was very pretty. It was like one of the earlier pretty games. I remember really being blown away by Killzone Shadowfall when it first launched. That one really did feel like a little next gen-y in the way, it would have these like large levels that seem to load really quickly, which obviously is a big part of the new generation. And anyway, so to finish my thought about ethics in games journalism, so I took a picture of all this shit that Sony and Microsoft had given me, and it just covered a couch, like a full couch of stuff, and I captioned it, "Guess which one I liked more," and it was, it was the PS4, not because they gave me more shit, but just because I felt it was a more cohesive platform at launch. Obviously, by the end of the generation, I spent a lot more time playing my Xbox One X than I did my PlayStation 4 Pro. I really only used my PS4 as a Blu-ray player towards the end there. But it was kind of a funny thing, and I remember, everyone like, complaining like, "Oh my god, ethics in games," or whatever. Is like if you actually I do not. I don't really play video games that much. I don't use that word in general. I just say player, um, because the identitarian aspect of it is just like, I mean, I used to play a ton of video games, um, like all the time, right? Yeah. I used to play video games all the time, and now I like mostly play them for work, not exclusively, but a lot of the time. Whenever I play a new game, it is almost entirely for work. If I play a game, it'll be a something older that I'm finally catching up on. I keep meaning to check out Life is Strange. You know, basically something. If there's something like on Game Pass that I want to check out, I've been playing Doom Eternal on the ps5. I played a little bit of that to see how it runs, which it runs very well. um, I haven't hooked up my uh, psvr headset. I got them to send me the adapter thing, so I can hook up my camera so I can use the psvr, but like it is such a fucking process to get that whole thing set up, so I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But one of these days I'll do that, and that'll be fun. I don't know what sensitive means in that context. Um, but I like the DualSense a lot. It's a very nice controller, and the haptic feedback. Yes, that is what it is. I did. I beat Miles Morales. In fact, um, I played all of the PS5 exclusive or PlayStation exclusive launch titles with the exception of Godfall because they ignored my emails. So I played Miles Morales, Demon Souls, Bug Snacks, The Pathless, Sackboy, A Big Adventure. Maybe that's it. Oh, hello. Hello, Oresti and Gabriella. Um, so yeah, that's been this. So I mean, the DualSense is it's a very nice control. I hate the way it looks. I really just do not like the way the whole PS5 thing looks. It's so fucking obnoxiously big. Um, what do you mean? Uh, uh, I don't understand your question. The big difference really is these triggers. And the first time I've beaten the new Call of Duty, and I filed my story on it last night. In fact, um, well, Willow, you just need to uh, get a publication with 31 million monthly readers to like you're writing about video games, and then you can say, "Hey, editor, I would like to review the new consoles," and he says, "How about the PS5? I don't care about the Xbox." And you're like, "Oh, okay," and then you contact Sony. Um, every single year, I review the new Call of Duty, and I always say mean things about it. And this year is no exception. Um, I I say lots of mean things about this one. Um, the so yeah, that's it's um, on some level, you know, like oh god, it's so fucking jingoistic. It's like it's so gross, and this one is especially gross because Ronald Reagan shows up and tells you to do war crimes. Um, I emailed some publishers, um, and some of them emailed me. Uh, as part of the press program, we gave our emails to Sony to give to developers who might be interested in sending out review copies to people. So, for example, the Pathless, which I enjoyed a lot more than I expected to. Um, the Pathless, I was sent a copy sort of unprompted, but like Bug Snacks, I emailed Young Horses, um, and they sent me a code because I was, obviously doing all this during the pre-launch period, so it was before. I have a gaming PC that is more powerful than a PlayStation 5, and I basically don't use it. The problem is it's a standing desk, and I don't really want to stand and play video games. I keep thinking that like maybe I should move my PC so I can hook it up to my TV. Um, I think that would be like a good thing to do, but they're so far away, and I'm so lazy. Like I will take up and tear down my living room every single time I want to shoot a stupid YouTube video. But like moving my computer over, just sounds like a nightmare. I'd also need to get new cables for my monitors because like they're already. I have a Ryzen 3950. No, 3900X. I didn't get the 50. Um, right? Yeah, 3900X. You absolutely cannot borrow my PS5. Um, and then I have an RTX 2070 as the processor. And based on the, I don't care. Based on the first Digital Foundry thing, the RTX 2060 Super has very, very similar performance to um, the Xbox Series X, and the PS5 is sort of like is slightly less powerful, but it's more powerful in certain like whatever. But that means though, you know, and I mean when I bought the RTX 2070, it basically cost as much as a PS5. So like that's not like saying that like oh how is this weaker than a 1.5 year old? Um, I mean, the RTX 3080 is less available than a PS5. So I don't think, I mean, I wanted to buy an RTX 3080 on day one because I have someone who would buy my RTX 2070 for like $200 and then I offset at least some of the cost. Um, it doesn't matter if you're gonna switch to PC gaming, you do so because because you want the best thing. You don't like it. Playing on a PC is more annoying than playing on a console. So the only reason to do it is if you're going to get something better. Um, I mean, the reason I have a 3900X and an RTX 2070 both is for video editing purposes because my previous system was just not, was just real slow at rendering video. And as someone who makes videos less and less frequently, but still fairly regularly, um, I was not about to um, a delta from a 2080 to a 3080 is pretty substantial. It's like 70%. From a 2080 Ti to a 3080 is only like 15 to 20%. But from a 2080 to a 3080 is substantial. But again, the kinds of people who want to play video games on a console will not find going to a PC a pleasant experience. Um, you know, the like that, they're just completely different markets. Like PC gaming is not really equivalent to console gaming. It never has been, and I don't think it ever will be. Video game consoles are getting more and more like PCs, but they're still just way more user friendly. Like, you know, even if I get a 3080, I would probably still get an Xbox Series X and play the Xbox Series X versions of video games that I could play on my way more powerful PC. In certain cases, not in every case, but I think in like most cases, just because it's easier. Like dealing with PC shit's really annoying. Um, And I feel that way, and I am perfectly capable of figuring it all out. Um, I mean, that's true. Games are very expensive, and this generation games are even more expensive, which is annoying. You know, yeah. I mean, upgrading a PC is easier in the sense that you can do it. Um, you know, um, but I mean, I stream through my TV, or do you? Or unless you mean Twitch streaming, which I don't do. These are the only live streams I do. But yes, I mean, it would be. I did build my own PC. I've built my own PC. I've completely redone my. I've used the same case for like 11 years, but the internals have completely changed 3 times. Um, but I don't remember what was in there first. Um, oh, when I got it, I had an i7 4770, and then I upgraded to an i7 5280. Um, and then I had that for like 4 years. And then I upgraded to the 3900 a year ago, maybe. Yeah, maybe longer. Maybe I don't know. This year's weird. Some probably longer at this point. Some I think like last summer. Um, the 2090 or the 2070 I got towards the end of last year. Um, I did actually make someone else put it all together because I did put it together and then there was an error. And I was like, wow, that's super fucking irritating. Um, a PS5, an i9 anything and a 2080 is substantially more powerful than a PS5. And if you put like a PCIe 4.0 um, solid state drive in it, it is substantially faster than the solid state drive in a PS5. Like you can completely crush the power of a PlayStation 5 with currently available parts. Like that's, but again, it will cost a whole lot more than $500 to do that, right? So, yeah, I think I have an Evo 850. Is the 850 the last one before they went to M2? I actually might have an M2 drive. I don't remember. I'm not currently looking at what's in my system. I did get one of the M2 drives, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look. Let's look. Let's see what purchases I have made of things. Um, I mean, M2 SSDs are way faster than 2.5-inch SSDs because they're PCI Express. So I don't know what that means. I believe you. Um, let's see. It's a very different kind of discussion than we usually have here on the Week I Reviews random live streams. Um, um, I've been to Akihabara. What a wild place that was. Um, I had a I had a really uncomfortable experience in Akihabara. Um, I think I've talked about that before. My orders M.2 SSD. Damn it! Why can't I search all orders? This is so irritating. Oh, I have a 970 Evo actually. So yeah, I've got a real fast one. Um, you should Jim, you should read my article on thedailybeast.com where I where I talk about which mode I used in uh here it is. Copy link address. Talk about there you go. Boom. I talk about which mode I played Miles Morales in and why I chose to play Miles Morales in that mode, as well as why I chose to play Demon Souls in a different mode. The yeah, because it every game is a little bit different. Obviously, ray tracing is the big thing. One thing that's true about Call of Duty PS5 is that it really doesn't look very good. Like it has ray tracing, which is nice, and but to do ray tracing at 60 frames per second, clearly they had to scale way back on the general fidelity of the image. There is a 120 hertz mode, but I don't have a 120 hertz television. So it's an interesting nice. Yeah, I was using, I was using the X99 for a while. But I had 64 gigs of quad channel RAM, but obviously actually does my current system do quad channel? I think I just have 32 to 16 gig things. I don't know. I honestly don't even know entirely what is in my system because I just bought shit and then I put it together and then whatever. Yeah, it's massive overkill. All of the stuff that I have is overkill. But actually that's not true. The difference in render time for these videos, because I shoot in 4K. Obviously, I send them out in 1080p, but I edit them in 4K because I just can't be bothered to edit them in anything else. And so, because I'm editing video in 4K straight out the camera with no with no transcoding or anything, it is definitely substantially easier on my newer system than my older one. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. But yeah, no, the PS5 is an interesting. Show activity, I think, means you can choose to tell people if you're doing anything. Like Sony asked us to not show people that we were playing games that were not yet released in the time leading up to. I'm exhausted. Honestly, the reason I'm exhausted is because of the PlayStation 5, because I have been playing it instead of sleeping so I could, do my day job and also file the stories. I don't have a serious relationship with Sony. Yeah, no, I don't really have I have someone at Sony who I talk to sometimes. And sometimes he can help me out and sometimes he can't. You know, uh, the PS5 was the first thing I've gotten from Sony in like 4 years, which is, I mean, I'm not complaining that I got it. But like, yeah, it's definitely not, I am not, you know, Kotaku or IGN or whatever, right? I think um, I like most of them. So the trick is get an internship working for a publication that gets 31 million monthly readers, write about video games for them, and then keep doing that freelance after you stop being an intern. That is how I did it, and I don't know any other way to do it. Um, yeah, Marvel movies, I like most Marvel movies. Um, they are well made, like, you know, constructed to be. I don't read video game publications, so I used to um, hating Marvel movie. Like, you can hate the idea of Marvel movies, but actually hating Marvel movies themselves is such a boring take. Like, you know, Thor Ragnarok is just like super fun, and anyone who hates that movie is boring, and I don't want to talk to them. Like, Marvel, Disney is bad for cinema. I'm not a comic book fan, so I've literally never read a Marvel comic book, and I don't intend to start. Um, it's um, you know, eh, the good evening. The idea of a Marvel movie is bad. Like, the whole system of Marvel movies is not good. Um, I don't think you can jump in to like late phase 3 movies and feel like you know what's going on. I only know what's going on because I've watched all but like 3 of the Marvel movies. Um, all of the Marvel movies are formulaic. Like they are a formula. Like, what do you mean early? Like, they're all exactly the same. Um, you know, um, you know, and like, yeah, as I said, I like them. I don't love most of them. Um, yeah, and the fact that like most superhero movies for a while ended with like a giant beam of light shooting up into the sky and like pouring out things, and they had to like stop the beam of light. Like, there's just like a lot of very samey shit in all of them, but it's still, um, yeah. I mean, I I love Thor Ragnarok. I really like the Spider-Man ones. And I'm glad that they're not origin stories. I understand the need for origins. I understand the need for origin stories 15 to 20 years ago, maybe, but like, we don't need any more Batman origin stories. Although the Batman does look cool, but I don't think it's an origin story. So, um, I don't think that really matters. Um, all that much. But yeah, yeah, Disney is very bad for cinema and entertainment more broadly. Like, um, I gotta hope that Joe Biden um makes a like really intense antitrust task force, and that the task force takes Disney to task for like the shit that they're doing. How come what? Um Di- uh Disney's bad because consolidation of all industries is bad. The fact that like, Jojo Rabbit was almost not released because Disney acquired 20th Century Fox and was like, "Ooh, we don't want movies like this," but because Taika Waititi is part of the Marvel universe, they can't just be like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to release your movie." But like, Disney only makes like baby movies for babies. And they don't like making good movies for good people. Um, you know, and just like their whole fucking shtick of, you know, making the same thing over and over again is just bad. Like, you know, um, yeah, I mean, a lot of Disney movies are very good, but they're all literally for children, which is fine. I mean, children suck, but like the idea of making movies for them makes sense. But I would rather there never be another Tangled and every movie be more like Jojo Rabbit, you know? Like I want more interesting movies. Um, and Disney just doesn't make interesting movies. 20th Century Fox released a lot of really interesting movies, and I'm very sad that they were taken over by Disney. Like the whole thing where everyone was like, "Yay, now we get X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe." It's like, yeah, because you destroyed, you know, the only company that was doing any sort of competition. I guess technically Sony is doing, the Spider-Man ones, but like no, it's not. Disney fucking sucks. Like honestly, like everything about them as a corporation is terrible. I mean, copyright laws exist the way they do almost entirely because of Disney. Like uh, Disney was like, we refuse to give up the rights of, all of these things. And so they just kept extending the rights. Like the fact that Steamboat Willie is finally going to be, or maybe it just became earlier this year, or I think it's next year, the fact that Steamboat Willie is like in the public domain, they did everything they could. I have no idea. Whoever handles casting for that. But yeah, no, fuck Disney. Um, no, Um, no, you have like a couple of like small production companies don't really have a lot of sway. I mean, you have 824. Neon's doing some pretty good stuff. Um, I mean, yeah, of course they do because Disney's Disney movies don't necessarily suck, but Disney sucks. And like the process that makes those movies, like basically all Disney movies are less interesting than they would have been if someone other than Disney had made them. And that is definitely true. Um, because they all have to fit within the Disney mold. Um, I will never subscribe to Disney Plus because frankly, I just do not care all that much about anything that's going to be on there. I'm much more, I mean, Hulu is now owned by Disney, but like Hulu is where Disney puts the stuff that they don't think matches their brand. Um, and I respect the hell out of that. Yes, I agree. We do need more animation movies that are American. I would like to note that we stopped talking about video games and now way more people are here. Um, I probably won't do that, but maybe. Um, I mean, a lot of superhero movies are very bad, especially pre Marvel's whole shtick. They weren't all bad. A lot of them were bad, and that's fine. Hold on. So I feel like Leica is British, aren't they? Leica definitely. I keep Paranorman is on Netflix now, and I really want to um I really want to watch that again. It's been quite some time since I have. Like, where are you from? Or nope, nope. Nope. They're U.S. based. Leica is U.S. based. So, um, yeah, it's totally fair. Um, yeah, we definitely need more dark animation. Dark animation is South Korea has some. I mean, look at the picture that's in the thumbnail. It's fucking enormous. Hold on, I'll show you. Ugh. Probably not, but I don't actually know what comprises the Asian golden age of cinema. Um, it's yeah, it's about the size of a VCR. It's bigger. I mean, it's bigger than my power conditioner that I have everything plugged into, but it is smaller than my receiver. Um, but like, it is way bigger than the PS4. It is way bigger than the Xbox One X. I don't have. Oh God, I'm hoping you're joking, and I'm just not going to respond to it if you're not. Um, I do. I have a PlayStation VR. I mentioned this a while ago, Mike. Keep up. um, yeah, I have a PlayStation VR. One of these days, uh, I almost bought an Index earlier in the quarantine to do something. Um, but then they were sold out, so I didn't do that. um, Jesus Christ. Well, it's better than fucking Mike, who's goddamn 16. Gross. At least you were born in the 90s. Um, yeah. VCR is how you play VHS tapes. um, hold on to answer I am the sword's question from a little while back. I would say that the Marvel that Disney's whole thing is not comparable because it's lasted so long. We're coming up on 15 years of Marvel soon, and they're still going strong. I mean, obviously, this year has been. I'm not answering that question. Go to fucking Google and find out. Um, the um, yeah, watch H Bomber Guy's video about VHS. It's a very good video. Um, watch H Bomber Guy's video about VHS. Um, so anyway, yeah, I don't think, I don't think that they're equivalent because the scale is so much larger and it's going longer, and frankly Marvel will keep making money well into this decade. Who knows what's going to happen with it. I mean, Disney Plus is obviously changing everything. um Disney Plus is changing everything. Yeah, no, Disney's like done very few good things and a lot of very bad things. Okay, so here's how I feel about copyright as someone who has put things out on the internet. Um, I t- Ratchet and Clank is not out. Sackboy and Miles Morales are both out, and I like both of them. Um, Sackboy is a lot of fun in co-op, but yeah, shit, I lost my train of thought. Um, no, Ratchet and Clank's next year. Um, oh right, copyright. So all of the videos on my YouTube channel um are technically copyrighted. I actually, as far as I'm concerned, they all should be Creative Commons. And actually, because most of the images that I use are Creative Commons images, I'm actually technically supposed to make all of my videos Creative Commons license, and frankly, like if someone were to do anything other than straight up repost, like I would love it if people like fucked around with my videos. Um, like genuinely, I think it would be fun. You know, the day I know I will have made it is when um someone makes someone makes a video trying to cancel me for shit that I said, and they just like take a bunch of clips that I of things that I said out of context, or like 3 minutes, or like 7 minutes of the week I review being iconic or whatever. No one will ever make that video because that would be a stupid video to make. But like that, um, that sort of thing, like that is I would be very happy about that. And like the exact opposite of copyright, whatever. Like, my obviously I have a obviously I had a um I had a yeah, motherfuckers trolling. I think so. Also, my debut single, Month 6, which Willow's a big fan of. I'm sure she knows all the words. Um, if anyone used that for any reason, I would be very happy. When I added it to YouTube, I made a point to not content ID it. So like anyone can use that song for any reason, because I bought the exclusive rights to the music, and so I can do whatever I want with it, as far as I understand that licensing agreement. And the next one that I've started working on the lyrics for, is going to be the same thing. I'll post it, and then people can uh do whatever if they're so inclined. Like, I mean, if someone wants to if someone wants to pay for it, or listen to it on Spotify, or whatever, obviously that's preferable. But frankly, um I don't want to sort of gatekeep there. But on the other hand, if this was how I made my money, I think I would be a little more hesitant. I think copyright, I can understand copyright through the life of the creator. Whatever. Someone makes a really cool thing, they should get paid for it until they die. I don't think there is anything um the I have thoughts on the Handmaiden. Remind me in a sec. Um just want to finish this thought. Uh you know, really I do think that uh fucking piece of shit trolling my goddamn comment section. There's no way, like, the way we know that Jay is lying is because he understands what rewinding is. Because the only thing you would rewind is a tape. So if he says, like, oh no, you're lying to me, and not what's rewinding, it's because he's a fucking liar. We got you, you piece of shit. Boom. um so yeah, trolling is uh um okay. So uh the Handmaiden, the anyway, so the Handmaiden, I really like Park Chan-wook. You know, we all know this. Uh, or we all should know this. If you've watched any of my videos, you should know this. Um, the problem with the scenes isn't or the thing about the sex scenes is that they're longer than they need to be. However, however, um, there's character growth within them, especially as it as the scene plays out a second time. Like there is a reason for the sex scenes to exist, not necessarily for them to exist in the way that they do. Although I mean, I like they're fine. Like I'm not going to complain about the scenes. Like yeah, they're a little bit long, but it's not like in Blue is the Warmest Color where most of the sex scenes serve literally no purpose. Like there are the two like really long scenes where it's just like, the lighting's flat. It's like a weird shot. Like it's just awkward. Like those scenes have no fucking reason for existing. Whereas in The Handmaiden, it does have a purpose, right? Like, you get characterization, although you only really get the deeper characterization the second time around. And I remember thinking the first time I watched it, I was like, this seems a bit much. And then when it came around the second time, um, I was like, oh, I get it. Right. Um, and so I think everyone who dislikes the sex scenes is a prude and should get over themselves. uh, but in general, at least American culture is way more accepting of I love Blue is the Warmest Color. I'm pretty sure I put Blue is the Warmest Color on my top 10 list for the decade, right? Has anyone watched that video and can confirm? I'm almost positive that I did. Um yeah, no, The Handmaiden is fantastic. And so is Blue is the Warmest Color. Very different movies. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Um but yeah, I mean, Americans are super in fuck Max Landis, piece of fucking ugh, alleged sexual assaulter. Um, Piece of shit. So, um, yeah, Americans hate sex and love violence, and it's not great, and it explains a lot of things about our culture um, that aren't great. Portrait of a Lady on Fire is incredible. It was one of the last movies I saw in theaters. I saw it in like February. Um, like when I made the point earlier about Neon killing it, like Parasite and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I think they did something else. I was just like, Jesus Christ, yeah, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is amazing. Um, so Possession is wild. Like, whoa. Um, that is one of the more intense movies I've seen. And it's just like such a strange experience that I really liked. I really it like it was weird. It was off-putting, but like in a way that really worked for me. That scene in the subway station was a lot. It's a lot. Um, but I think it works. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I think Diablo Cody's a very good writer. I like Juno. I like uh, I like Jennifer's Body. I like Young Adult. Young Adult made me real uncomfortable. And Tully, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That it, yeah, no, Possession is very good. Um, I watched it because young adult made me uncomfortable because awkward interactions make me feel uncomfortable, and young adult is all about awkward interactions. Just like the whole movie is just like, one person awkwardly, "Oh, hey, get lost photo club. How's Florida?" Um, I remember, if you haven't seen Tully, close your ears for 10 seconds. Um, I left the theater. Um, I left the theater and there was someone immediately behind me who was like, "Wait, so did she like leave the car? Like what happened? What happened to her?" And I was like, "Jesus Christ, dude! Like they fucking spell out the ending. I didn't spoil it, guys. I did a good job. I figured out how to talk around it. Sort of. But yeah, that was one of the better or more effective uses of that particular twist that I've seen. And I totally didn't see it coming. I'm also kind of an idiot, and I frequently don't see things coming, but um, yeah, no, it really worked for me. So, um, uh, change your mind. I mean, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street's better. Is Texas Chainsaw a slasher film? If it is, it's definitely that one's definitely better. I do like Sleepaway Camp though. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of Diablo Cody's. I think her best work is Jennifer's Body though, which I saw earlier this year, and real fan of that. There's a song that plays in it, and it was, it's like a heavy song as the camera like rushes towards Jennifer. Um, Dude, Hausu is fucking incredible. I have watched her interview with Megan Fox actually. As soon as I watched it, I went and like did like a deep thing into like, all of the conversations about it. Um, and so, you Hausu is the best slasher. Well, it was supposed to be Jaws, uh, with a house or whatever. Um, is Jaws the best slasher? Maybe. Um, Right. There's a shot at the end, or towards somewhere, where the camera's like rushing up to her, and you hear this really intense, like, metal song playing, and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah. This is like super my jam." And so I looked up the song and I was really pissed because the rest of the song sounds nothing like it. That is actually how the song ends. Like it's like, weak shit. And then like at the end, it gets like hard. And I was like, oh, awesome. And then the song's over and nothing else they do is anything like that. And I was very disappointed. Um, we need more like legit heavy music in things. One thing I really appreciate about Matt Stoney as a YouTuber is he's like the only person who um is the only person who like uses like hard rock heavy metal in like the backgrounds of his videos. Like everyone else uses like boring weak shit. um so the answer to that question is, with the possible exception of Starship Troopers, every single person whose favorite movie is Wolf of Wall Street, Fight Club, or American Psycho has missed the point of that movie. I feel like people can have Starship Troopers be their favorite movie, and not have missed the point. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street, Fight Club, American Psycho are all really good movies, but like the only way they can be your favorite is if you're bad. I remember seeing a TikTok months ago now, um, where a girl was talking about the fact that every single man's favorite movie is either Wolf of Wall Street, Fight Club, or Step Brothers, and um, you know, and how like all of the movies can be, you know, put into one of those things, and that she was talking to someone, and American Psycho was directed by a woman, which I think is very interesting. She did a great job. I've been thinking about American Psycho a lot recently because I have a copy of it. My girlfriend's thinking of reading the book. Also, they make a joke about my alma mater in it, and I watched it at my school, and all of us laughed very hard at that joke. Um, the uh, but anyway, she's like, all of the, every movie can be like, you know, put into one of those three things. And she was talking to a guy who said another movie that, like, I think fell under the Step Brothers sort of umbrella. And she said, really? And he said, no, actually it's American Psycho, which falls under the Wolf of Wall Street banner. But like, the fact that he knew that American Psycho was his favorite movie was genuinely disconcerting for her. Um, I think that says that um, I think it says that you like very specifically composed cinema. Um, the fact that my favorite movie, I don't have any idea what um Assassination Nation being my favorite movie, like Assassination Nation does not fall into any of those subcategories. Um, but it probably falls into some other subcategory. Um, which, oh well. Um, you know, Joseph Kahn's Detention, which was my previous favorite movie. I don't have any fucking clue where that put me. The Hunt, the movie that came out earlier this year. Really? I mean, I liked that movie a lot. It was the last movie I saw in theaters, and I saw it twice in theaters. But that's interesting. I think Taxi Driver is American Psycho, right? Like those are in the same. Um, dude, Assassination Nation is incredible. Um, of course, I've seen Euphoria. Um, you should watch my review of Assassination Nation where I talk about it. And literally every other things. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I also need to go back and see some of those movies. I need to see Taxi Driver again. When I saw Taxi Driver, it was on a 35 millimeter print that had like a green line running down the side of it, like through the whole fucking movie. And that was distracting. Like I understood what the movie was going for, but that was distracting. Yes. European snob, 100%. Uh, European snob uh, who rejects the 21st century. That's what um yeah, no, I no Euphoria is great, and I'm looking forward. I think they did like a Christmas special or something that's coming out in the next month, and I'm looking forward to that. Memento is a great movie because it makes interesting use of time. And the ending is really good. Um, that's fine. You know what I mean. Um, Yeah, no, Memento is great because of the choice the character makes at the ending. Um, and the revelation of what the whole movie actually is in light of the decision the character makes. I mean, really, it's more just like, you can see the groundwork for what Christopher Nolan would become as a filmmaker in that. I do not think it's anywhere near his best movie. Um, but but I think it's great. And I think that's the reason it's great. It's not that, like, it has the weird structure or whatever. It's what the weird structure ultimately tells you, like, allows you to understand about the character. Um, the fact that it, like, goes into black and white periodically is like that's like needlessly stylized, whatever. Um, and that's fine. Um, what? Um, so yeah, that's where I fall on that. Um, remember when the last one of these went for 4 fucking hours? Jesus Christ. I will not be doing that again. I figure, maybe we'll go another 20 minutes. I'm okay. Take care, man. Um, black and white movies are great. But the black and white scenes from Memento are unnecessary. Um, take care, man. Uh, I am not from New York City, but I live in New York City. And I have lived in New York City for 10 years, basically. I guess on and off for 4 of those because I went to school. Um, I intend to get a Series X sometime next year, because Game Pass is great. Um, my original plan had been to get a Series X before a PS5. Um, you know, uh, but obviously it didn't happen that way. Um, and we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Um, The Artist is a really interesting movie that, like, I always forget exists. It has one of the better performances by a dog, I think. Um, I'm from Rhode Island, which is like an hour. My town is like an hour from Boston. Um, favorite comedies. I've been rewatching the Austin Powers movies, which is uh, which is which is really funny. Like, and definitely is related to the fact that I was, like, alive and watched them as a child, and so it's just very nostalgic for me. Favorite comedies. Ugh. Edge of 17 is great. Yeah, I need to deal with this. Give me a sec. That's better. Um, Airplane's good. I mean, the whole, like, Leslie Nielsen canon is very good. Okay, this is fine. Um, I'm just trying to, man. Um, I mean, there are a lot of good comedies. I don't know. I get confused. Like, I when I try to think of, like, favorites, I honestly just kind of get confused a lot of the time because there's I've seen so many things. Not the most things ever, but, like, um, a lot. Overrated performers. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think the answer is Army Hammer. And Timothy Chalamet, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think there are a lot of, you know, performers who are very good at certain things, and it's a problem when they, when uh, I think, yeah, I mean, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is best in like his suffering roles. Um, but you know, um, I think it's because so here's a bleak answer to this question. Because comedies are just about giving you joy, and joy is a fleeting feeling, whereas drama and horror just stays. um, it is, in terms of like the long haul, comedy is also the most culturally specific. Um, like, I mean, there are a lot of, comedies that can have international appeal. Um, and then there's a lot of comedies that will never have international appeal. And then there's a lot of comedies that are like very specific to the time. Like I mentioned Austin Powers. It's like I am still enjoying Austin Powers, but I feel like if you weren't a kid in the 90s, you probably won't enjoy Austin Powers. Just because it's very of that time. Um, the Yeah, I mean, so I watched last night I watched House of a Thousand Corpses. If you'd like to know my immediate thoughts on that, follow me on TikTok. Um uh jamming jamming. Um the Interesting. Um yeah, Austin Powers is super dumb, but fun. But yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses is like, you follow me on TikTok, bro. Alec JKM. Um, but yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses is way less disturbing than I expected it to be. Um, and you know, but like in a good way. It's funnier than I thought it would. And according to Wikipedia, it is a horror comedy explicitly. Jesus fucking Christ. Make a TikTok account. This is the part where if Mike is still here, he fucking pipes. I was like, no, use YouTube stories instead. I'm not going to make a TikTok. Um, I love TikTok. I mention this every time I do one of these, and it's still true. TikTok's like, yeah, see, here he fucking is. God damn it. Um, you spelled my name wrong. I'm so offended. It's fine. Um, but yeah. Uh, It's fine. I don't care. Um, but yeah, no, um, yeah, no. Will is definitely iconic. Will is the first person to make fan art of me. Who do you know someone who's Alec with a K? I've never heard that name before. I don't know. Maybe it's a British thing. Um, really? Did they choose that, or like was it given to them? Is that like? Is it really? That's so weird. I've literally never heard that. I've only actually ever known one other Alec with a C. And I think he took his name from me. He admitted to doing that at one point. Alec Baldwin. Um, Alec Baldwin is the most famous person with. Um, Interesting. Um, the uh, yeah, this guy admitted that, or he said that, like, I was like, "Did you steal your name from me?" And he said yes, but thinking back to it, um, it is very possible he was just saying that so I would leave him alone. Um, and has nothing to do with whether or not he actually did. So he might have taken it, but I don't know. Um, Alexander, yeah, that would work, I guess. Um, Alan Tudyk, my favorite Alan Tudyk part is definitely Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a great comedy. You want to talk good comedies? Fucking Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I love that one. That and Cabin in the Woods are my two favorite horror comedies for sure. Um, like both very just like so fun. Um, and I couldn't really rank them one over the other. I don't think because I like them for such different reasons. Um, yeah, well, yeah, no, Alexander, like with an X, Alex is super common. Which is why most people say Alex when they like most people get my name wrong and they call me Alex. Like that happens constantly. I mean, it happens a lot less now because I don't see anybody, but it used to happen to me constantly. Um, and but like Alec is not short for anything, uh, at least not in America. Um, you know, so yeah, that's interesting that it's spelled differently in other places because yeah, it's super not how it goes here. In my experience, at least. Yep. Okay, we got 6.5 minutes left. Um, what do we want to talk about for these last 6.5 minutes? Um, yes, Alec Guinness. Yeah, so Alec Guinness and Alec Baldwin are the two most famous Alex. I will never reach that level, but maybe I will. I won't, but maybe. It won't happen, but it could, but it won't. But maybe. Who should you follow on Twitter? Me, obviously. Um, I don't know. I don't really follow people on Twitter. Um, you want to know something fucked up about donations? Is YouTube takes 50% of super chats. So like, you know, people very kindly gifted me $190 in the last one of these chats, and I got 95, which is a dick move. Yeah, right. Um, yeah, I thought they took like 30%. But no, they take fucking 50. Which is like, um, Yeah, like hey, Kojo. Yeah, no, it's a dick move because it's like, it's not even that I don't appreciate it. Um, you know, that's exactly how. Um, it's like obviously I genuinely appreciate the support, but it sucks for the people who give me money because they're like, someone's like, hey, I'm gonna give this person 20 bucks. And it's like, well, it's actually 10. And it's like there's no reason for it's like fuck YouTube, right? Yeah, it's just like I feel yeah. Um, I mean, any money is like cool with me on some level. You know, uh Patreon is subscription only. However, I do have a PayPal.me thing um, for people if someone like ever wanted to just give me money one time. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, but Patreon is the way to do things. I've actually changed my Patreon tiers, or rather, I created a new tier because uh, I'm now saying 11 people's names at the end of every video. And I had actually considered doing this before I hit 11, but then I hit 11 and it was too late. Um, which is after I hit 15 people who want me to say their names, then their names are just in the credits. And I'm not going to say it anymore. And I made those different tiers that cost the same amount of money. Um, or actually, I think no one um, is a 6.99 instead of 7 to just have your name written out. But like I now it's just 15 people have to. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. If someone gives me $100 a month, I actually thought it was like, if someone wanted to give me $100 a month, I would say their name at the beginning of the video, like or like I would put it like in the, you know, like week hour review brought to you by this fucking guy. When I hit 10,000 subscribers, Jim Jam, we've talked about this. Um the um yeah, no, once I hit 10,000 that's when I intend to do merch. Merch. Um I mean, sure, I'll make the tier. No, that's one of those tiers that like no one would ever back, and that would be an insane thing to do. However, if someone, um, I have to, yeah, there's basically what's going to happen is when I get to like 9,800, which my guess is we're like my sub count has started. It's not dropping, but it is, or I mean, it might have dropped. Oh yeah, it's dropped 4 since I started this stream, which is fine. But like, um, every time I live stream, I uh, I lose subscribers. Um, but like my subscriber count was like pretty consistently like 10 to 15 new people a day, and now it's like 3 to 7, which is what it was like a year and a half ago. So, you know, it's moving more slowly than it was, and I may not actually hit 7,500 by the end of the year, which I had expected to. I mean, if I was going at my previous rate, I definitely would have. And I mean, whatever. If I don't hit it, I don't. But like, if I don't hit 7,500 this year, then hitting 10K before like next October, like basically before year 3 ends, seems pretty unlikely. Um, and that's when I have to decide what I want to do, just in general with the channel. Um, but we're nowhere near there yet. I'm gonna keep doing it, but yeah, I mean, Patreon actually does merch fulfillment now, and I want to understand more about how that works. Like, do you have to be a patron, or like, can you can you become a monthly patron and at like $15 and just get a shirt, and then that's like, and then just cancel your subscription, or like, maybe it's such that like people who are patrons get like a 10% discount versus someone who's just buying it. It seems like it would be in Patreon's best financial interest to not tie it exclusively to um, a person, but hard to know. Uh, Jim Jam is, I don't think it's like it might be a brand. It's like it sounds like something kids say. Um, but like, but I don't know. I don't have like a example offhand of that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with merch, but the plan is merch at 10,000. Assuming that ever happens. Okay. Last question. It is one uh it is 1:31. So, um no, nothing, no questions. I'll give you the worst horror movie I've seen. The Forest, I think. The Forest is the horror movie that I got angriest at when I saw it in theaters. Um, I hated that movie. I have OSS 111, 117 in a new tab. Yeah, no, The Forest, which is one of like two movies about the suicide forest that came out that year, um, is just so horrendously bad that it like I was genuinely is one of the I gave it like a 2 out of 10 uh when I reviewed it for Flixist. Like I was so it's like the third lowest review I ever gave, and the other two were not horror movies. Yeah, fuck The Forest. Yeah, it is such an awful movie, like on so many levels. Like it's made poorly. It's like um if you're into getting pegged, man, you should spend more time on uh TikTok. As far as I can tell, literally every single person on TikTok, every single girl on TikTok wants to peg her boyfriend. That's what I've learned from TikTok. Um, yeah, no, The Forest is like awful on every level, but also it makes light of suicide and like does some and yeah, the way it like ugh ugh yeah, I fucking hate that movie. So yeah, um I'm a TikTok movie reviewer. Technically. I mean, probably. I don't know. I've mentioned this before. My TikTok feed, like TikTok definitely thinks I'm a bisexual girl. And the so my TikTok for you page is mostly bisexual girls complaining about the fact that they're dating white boys. Um and stuff like that. Like man, I have so many of those. Not really. Um ugh, but I don't like tweeting. Um, I have vague memories of playing Spyro as a child. I never played Crash Bandicoot. And okay, uh, so the last thing I'll say, am I doing good? I'm doing okay. I loved Hereditary. Uh, I think I talked about it a little bit in my midsummer review. Um, I am doing okay. I am glad that I filed my Call of Duty story and I don't have any like I don't have to be a good writer anymore. Now I can just write like week I review reviews, which I don't have to like think about how the audience, like what the audience knows and how it affects them. Because like when I write for a publication like the Daily Beast, I need to be a lot more careful, and like I need to think about sort of what the general audience knows. Whereas when I'm writing on the Week I Review, I don't care what people know. Like, if I will just say shit, and it's like, if you don't, because I do 30-second hot takes that I would do on Letterboxd on TikTok instead. That's why. Because it is easier for me to just talk for 30 seconds than it is to like write out thoughts. Putting it on Letterboxd makes it like a review, and that's work. Whereas a TikTok hot take is just a fun, silly thing that I do. Like, it is those, I literally, like, I finish a movie, I put this light behind me, I make it green like this, I go like this, and then I put my fucking camera up. Like, like it is literally, it's like a 2-minute process. I'm not going to do it. It's still work. I've thought about just linking my TikToks in the review, or in the, like, where I would put the review. I probably won't do that though. But yeah, so I have finished The Good Place. I started writing a review of the finale, and I would have given it a 10 out of 10, and then I never finished it. I never finished writing about it. Okay, but yes. Spotify. Yeah, so okay, we're good. I technically answered like 4 questions. So now we're gonna go. I'll probably do another one of these. A couple weeks, a few weeks, probably 3 weeks. I will be in 2 weeks. I will not be around here because of Thanksgiving. Even though they told me not to travel, I'm going to travel and see my family, and then we're just gonna not see anybody else together. So, so probably the first weekend in December, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And then, oh man, my birthday is the week after that. It's almost my birthday, guys. Less than a month. Wild. I'm going to be 29. And then next year, I'm going to be 30. Fuck. And, if I still exist and my YouTube channel exists when I turn 30, I'm definitely going to review my 20s. I had actually intended, and I started writing a review of my mid 20s in 2018. However, I had only had the YouTube channel for like a couple of weeks at that point. I'm really, like, I'm looking forward to being in my 30s. It's really like, I'm so over being 20 something. But I use ExpressVPN / Danny Gonzalez. I think that was the one I ended up using. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely not concerned about turning 30. But yeah, I came very close. I came very close to reviewing my early 20s, but because I was only like 3 months into the YouTube channel at that point, maybe a little under 4 months into the YouTube channel at that point, like, it was not like a real thing. Did folks see that hilarious thing I tweeted? I mean, a couple people did. Geese Breath did. Willow did, and some other person. But someone watched my Salo review, and then they immediately watched my election video, and said, "OMG, he has aged so much since I saw his last video on review of movie Solo. He looks so old and tired." Um, and yeah, fair enough. I definitely, uh, is a lot. It's funny. Yeah, but I laughed pretty hard at that. It was a genuinely funny comment. So yeah, okay. Um, right. I mean, like a lot of, Sala was the beginning of 2019. Like a lot has changed. Also, I wear glasses, which just makes me look older. Psyduck for sure, but Baby Yoda's cuter. Um, so, um, yeah, I mean, like, I think there are probably things I could do that would like guarantee me to get a bunch of subscribers, like reviewing hot mamas or whatever. But like, I wouldn't want that audience. That's the problem with a lot is like the audience I want is fairly specific. Um, and I'm not sure how to like target that, right? Like people, I don't know. Yeah, right. If you see me fucking reviewing slime, like kill me. Um, Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, my YouTube channel was too new for when I turned 27. So I just didn't end up doing that. But as I said, if I'm still around in a year on YouTube, uh, I'll probably have 10,000 subscribers by then. That seems like the point at which I could like do a video like what I learned in my 20s or whatever for all you fucking children who are who watch my YouTube videos. Um, you know, anyways. Um, as always, I appreciate the support that y'all give me and you coming here one college semester. Um, I appreciate the support that all of you give me. It means a lot that y'all come here and hang out and waste your day with me, I guess. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put out a video this week. I know what the next one is, but I haven't even started working on it because I've been doing all of this shit. Um, about the PS5. Like it's taken like all of my time and I really haven't worked on anything else for the past like 2 weeks. So other than the election thing, which I just sort of like threw out there. Um, so we'll see what happens, but I'll try to get it out this week. If not, hopefully for next week, for the week after. And I'm going to be traveling for a week, so whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll try to get things up as I can. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like the election video. I think it was good. I don't know if or how to do more like it necessarily, but we'll see. Take care, everyone. Thank you again for spending time with me. Have a pleasant rest of your day, good week, etc., etc. Bye. Ah, shit. How do I end this fucking thing? Got it.